There's a biological truth we keep hidden from ourselves to avoid freezing in terror. The iron running through your veins right now is the same metal forged in the core of dying planets. On November 14th, 2012, at Reynisfjara Beach in Iceland, that connection became a death sentence. The Vik 77 incident didn't begin with a disappearance. It began with a complaint. Tourists reported that their boots seemed to double in weight the closer they walked toward the black basalt columns. The Coast Guard initially classified it as muscle fatigue from extreme cold. 48 hours later, that classification was quietly replaced by 3 words no agency has used before or since: living tissue, magnetic assimilation. The black sand at Vik is not just volcanic rock. A classified report from the Civil Protection Agency describes a mineral sediment that doesn't respond to gravity. It responds to the human heartbeat. The faster your heart beats, the denser the mineral becomes. Picture walking along that coast and feeling every pulse in your chest pulling the ground toward your bones. The moment panic sets in and your heart hits 120 beats per minute, the sand stops being sand. It becomes a biological magnet on a geological scale. The parking lot security cameras captured the exact moment the Anderson family stopped moving. They didn't fall. They simply solidified. Still upright, still facing the ocean. While the iron in their blood was being molecularly reordered to align with the beach's magnetic field. When the extraction team arrived in insulated suits, they found what the files now call the basalt sentinels. 5 human figures, perfectly preserved inside black volcanic rock. But they were not statues. Contact microphones pressed against the stone picked up something forensic science has spent years trying to erase from the record. From inside the basalt, in a muffled, rhythmic frequency, you could still hear the sound of 5 hearts desperately trying to slow down. The rescue attempt was led by geophysical engineer Dr. Eris Thorne. He arrived at Reynisfjara, believing he was dealing with an unusual mineral adhesion. He left as part of the beach itself. When hydraulic cranes applied traction to pull the Anderson family from the sand, the ground didn't yield. Instead, the basalt coating their legs began to pulse. A slow, rhythmic glow. Gray, turning bioluminescent. Spectrographic analysis delivered the first impossible data point. The mineral wasn't attached to their skin. It had replaced the calcium in their bones through a process of near-instant transmutation. Inside those statues, there were no longer human skeletons. There was volcanic architecture. Thorne made the decision that sealed the operation's fate. He believed that disrupting the magnetic signal would cause the sand to lose cohesion. He ordered the deployment of a high-frequency electromagnetic pulse disruptor. It did not free the Andersons. It woke something up. The moment the pulse hit the sand, the entire beach responded like a collective nervous system. A metallic crack rang out across the coast, heard miles away in the town of Vik. Within seconds, razor-sharp basalt branches erupted from the chests of the 5 figures. They connected the Andersons to each other, then directly to the ground. They were no longer individuals. They had become nodes in Iceland's geological network. That was when Thorne identified the second anomaly. The most devastating one. The sand wasn't just using heartbeats to capture victims. It was using their nervous systems to process information. His team's laptops began displaying data no one had entered. Binary code that, when translated, revealed the Anderson family's childhood memories. Converted into geographic coordinates and crystallization patterns. Thorne barely had time to order the evacuation. He looked down. The mineral residue had already fused his boot leather directly to his skin. He tried to run. His weight had tripled in 3 seconds. His own terror was now the engine driving his petrification. The evacuation of the Reynisfjara exclusion zone was ordered at 7 that evening. The containment protocol failed before it was fully deployed. Underwater sensors positioned off the coast of Vik detected seismic activity unlike anything in the geological record. Not tectonic plates shifting. Not a fault line releasing pressure. A rhythmic pulse, perfectly synchronized with the average heartbeat of a human being in a state of shock. The beach was breathing. The classified technical report, filed under Synchronous Anomaly Protocol, documents the moment geology stopped being inert. The basalt columns that made Reynisfjara famous worldwide began vibrating at a frequency so low it caused internal hemorrhaging in the officers guarding the perimeter. No impact, no contact. Just sound. The forensic intelligence team then uncovered the true scale of what was happening. The Andersons, whose nervous systems had been fully integrated into the mineral network, were no longer victims. They were transmitters. Through their fused neural pathways, the anomaly had accessed the fiber optic cables running beneath the North Atlantic. The magnetized iron of Reynisfjara had become a biological processing server. 500 kilometers away in Reykjavik, hospital monitors began displaying interference patterns that mirrored basalt crystal structures. Coma patients started murmuring geographic coordinates, pointing to the abyssal trenches of the Arctic Ocean. Doctors had no explanation. The network did. Dr. Thorne's final transmission, recovered from a buried field recorder, described the last stage of integration in a voice that no longer sounded afraid. He said he felt no pain, no fear, only the sensation of his consciousness being stretched across millions of years of geological memory. His last words were, "The Earth is not an object. It is a compressed data archive." And it finally found its reader. By 10 that night, the coast fell into absolute silence. Where 5 tourists and a research team had stood, there was now a single massive structure of obsidian and flesh. A crystal formation, pulsing with the residual heat of 12 lives, merged into one mineral processor. The Icelandic government sealed the Vik region under the official justification of seismic instability and tsunami risk. The real justification is filed under a code that has never been made public. System Purge Black Sand. Radius Fiara today is a dead zone. Infrared motion sensors. Drone patrols running 24 hours. No human being is permitted to touch the black sand. But geographic isolation is an illusion of safety. And the Vik 77 incident proved it. The case closure report contains one finding that was deliberately omitted from every public health bulletin ever released. The mineral residue recovered from the boots and clothing of the rescue teams is not inert. It behaves like a siliceous mineral virus. Electron microscopy revealed that microscopic particles of that magnetic sand adhere to synthetic fabrics and human dermis. They leave Iceland. They travel. And once outside the island, they enter a state of dormancy, waiting for a specific trigger. That trigger, as we discovered in the worst possible way, is synchronization. If you have ever visited Iceland or purchased any souvenir containing volcanic ash, you may already be a dormant host inside the network. We have documented cases in London, New York, and Tokyo. Individuals who, during episodes of tachycardia or acute stress, reported a sudden and unexplained sensation of weight in their lower limbs. Medical reports described the formation of small magnetic iron deposits beneath their fingernails, inside their joints. They are not sick. They are being tuned. The Earth is not trying to kill us. It is indexing us. Every person who touched that sand is now part of a geological database operating on a timescale our consciousness cannot process. The Andersons are still in there. Thorn is still in there. Not dead, archived. As you listen to these words, the iron in your own blood is circulating, responding silently to the planet's magnetic field, the way it always has. The question is not whether assimilation will happen. The question is when your heart will reach the exact resonance frequency the sand requires. Vik 77 was not an isolated event. It was a system restore. Nature does not forgive. And it has a memory made of stone. If tonight your feet feel heavier than they should, or if the sound of your own heartbeat seems to echo against the floor, don't try to run. Movement raises your pulse, and your pulse is all it needs to find you. Welcome to Nordic Flies.